Whose face would you like to try on?
David Arachamia, Prime Minister Boris Johnson, President Zelenskyy.
Ukrainian developers are proud of their product, which sets the tone for the latest deepfake technology. Hello world, it's Kyiv, not Kiev, and we're so happy you joined us today.
My name is Polina Bachuk, and this is my fellow Tatiana Haiduk, and we've got a lot to tell you, so
here we go. The EU may suspend visa-free regime travel for Arachamia.
No, Arachamia is not an exotic country somewhere in Eastern Europe. This is the surname of the head of the faction of the presidential party, Servant of the People, whose name is David Arachamia.
3 MEPs, Michael Gahler, the EU reporter on Ukraine, Viola von Kramon, the deputy head of the parliamentary delegation to the EU-Ukraine Association Committee, and Rasa Yuknevichene wrote an open letter to him. In it, MEPs explained the reality of threats to Ukraine visa-free regime with the EU.
A little background. On the 17th of September, the Verkhovna Rada approved the composition of the Competition Commission for the election of a new head of the Specialized Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office, despite the recommendations of the European Union. And Viola von Kramon, a member of the European Parliament from Germany, said that this threatened the visa-free regime and the next tranche of macro-financial assistance of 1.2 billion euros because Ukraine's government is hastily pushing candidates lacking experience and integrity to select the SAPO head.
Indeed, some recent actions by Ukrainian officials have called into question the independence of anti-corruption bodies. One of them is, for example, declaring Artem Sitnik's appointment as NABU chairman unconstitutional. Both the IMF and now partners from the EU emphasize the inadmissibility of rolling back anti-corruption reforms in Ukraine.
David Arachamia called Ms. von Kramon's statement about the risk of losing visa-free regime with Ukraine rumours. I will only respond to letters. There are no letters from anyone, neither from the lawmaker nor from the European Parliament, he said.
Well, open letter to Arachamia is more than a real message. Dear Mr. Arachamia, we heard you only reply to letters, so we wrote you one. This is how MEPs began their appeal to the Ukrainian parliamentarian.
In fighting corruption, your government inspired hope in its early days. President himself envisaged Ukraine of his dreams, where teachers receive real salaries and corrupt officials receive real jail time. 17 months later, we cannot but see that the dream is showing cracks. And many of those cracks are knee-deep in your party, Mr. Arachamia, they wrote.
They also added that EU parliamentarians understand that some members of Sluga Narodu are spreading Kremlin-backed disinformation while orchestrating well-organized attacks on independent institutions like NABU, NBU, and SAP. All of this endangers particularly the 1.2 billion microfinancial assistance, not because we want it so, but because the mutual agreements that you and we concluded foresee it.
With regard to the visa-free regime, parliamentarians wrote that the EU will reserve the right to impose the specific denial of such freedoms to individual oligarchs and policymakers who abuse the right for their private illegal activities.
And at the end of the letter, they invited Mr. Arachamia to Brussels. While you're still allowed to enter without a visa. Read between the lines.
And the one who surely left for Brussels quickly is President Zelenskyy. On the 6th of October, the 22nd summit Ukraine-EU took place. European partners noted that in spite of the economic crisis and the war, Ukraine is still committed to reform implementation as set forth in the association agreement with the European Union. The summit dealt with the issue of importance of Ukraine's gradual integration into the EU internal market, exploring opportunities for sectoral integration, including that into the energy union, transport community, and the digital single market.
The visit to Brussels was not the only overseas voyage of a president. Right now, joined by First Lady Olena Zelenskyy, he is paying a 2-day official visit to Great Britain.
The key meeting of the visit was that with Prime Minister Boris Johnson, followed by signing the Ukrainian-British agreement on political cooperation, free trade and strategic partnership to replace the trade association agreement with the UK after Brexit.
Furthermore, they are expected to sign a number of other documents on cooperation in the field of defense and financial support of bilateral projects. There is also a scheduled audience of Zelenskyy and his wife with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge, that is Prince William and his wife Kate Middleton. Try Britney, because I think it would be just great with pigtails and oops, I did it again.
Yes, so we're talking about the Refaceapp. The Refaceapp, developed in Ukraine, is breaking all the world records. The face swap technology debuted on the App Store and Google Play in January 2020, and for several weeks now has been in the top downloads in the App Store in more than 100 countries and sets new trends on social media.
Right, it has been downloaded more than 42 million times and is now ahead of YouTube, TikTok and Zoom in the US App Store. This is virtually the first deepfake technology that has become easily available to every user in the world.
Yeah, many of the latest deepfake memes were made using this technology, Reface, a new app that has built its own machine learning frameworks that allow users to take a selfie and merge it with a target video or a GIF to create a deepfake.
Whose face would you like to try on? The face of Elon Musk, or one of Victoria's Secret angels, or Jack Sparrow, Angelina Jolie, or Voldemort? You can choose from hundreds of options. Unlike face masking tools found on apps like Snapchat, Reface generates an entirely new video using the twin inputs.
Yeah. While such technologies can be a source of misinformation, the Reface developers and investors say that they shared its API with companies like Facebook to help build tools to detect deepfakes, and that the technology's promises outweighed its potential risks.
Ukrainian developers are proud of their product, which sets the tone for the latest deepfake technology, and believe that it will give a name to the new verb to reface, which will soon be just a regular verb for us, like to Google or to Xerox.
Yeah, but the coolest thing in our news is not only Ukrainian technology that has conquered the world, but the fact that thanks to this technology, on October 4, for the first time in history, there was an online march for animal rights.
UAnimals organizes an event every year for World Animal Day in Ukraine. Its participants demand legislative protection of animals, circuses without animals, a ban on fur farms, training hunting centers and dolphinariums. This year, the march couldn't be held due to restrictive measures. However, anyone could upload a photo with their face to the UAnimals website or using the Refaceapp and become a virtual participant of the march.
Yeah, the world's first virtual march for animal rights could usher in a whole new approach thanks to using Reface AI technology in public events. And what's really amazing is the fact that the starting point for this everything was Ukraine. Okay guys, thank you for watching us today. These were Polina Bachuk and Tatiana Haiduk.
We hope you will join us next week, and we promise to invite somebody special to our next video. So we're promising you a guest.
Stay safe, stay kind, and remember the most important thing.
Very important thing. Kyiv, not Kiev.
From Ukraine with love.
Oops, I did it again to your heart. I'm in love.